Hey everyone, Mark here. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the new Netflix documentary, The Return of the King, the Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley. It's funny, up until a couple of days ago, I think it was the day it was released, I have a bit of dyslexia, so I sometimes reverse things how I say it. I thought the title was Return of the King, The Rise and Fall of Elvis Presley. And my first thought was, man, like, why do they got to come out with negative crap about Elvis? The rise and fall of Elvis Presley, seriously? And then the day it was released, I saw the banner on Netflix that it was coming later that day. And I'm like, wait a second, it's the fall and rise of Elvis Presley. So that really, really changes the narrative 100%. So just wanted to share that brief moment of, whatever you want to call that, that I picked up on. But glad it was actually the second title, not the one that I originally thought it was. But I have read a lot of comments on Facebook and social media and things like that. A lot of people, most people I saw really enjoyed it. A number of folks thought it was just a regurgitation of last year's Elvis special that was on. I'm trying to think what network that was on, but I really did enjoy that one, the one about the '68 special. But I didn't feel that way. I always go into these things with a very open mind. I do not want to judge based on what I'm reading. I want my own assessment. I want to view it on my own and come up with my own opinion on it. And that's exactly what I did. Funny story, I was up late Wednesday evening, and I'm a night owl. I tend, even at my age, I tend to stay up pretty late. But I was really tired, so I started to watch it yesterday morning, and shockingly, I dozed off. Not that I was bored, I was just so incredibly tired that I just kind of dozed off for about 10 minutes. When I woke up, I'm like, you know what? I really want to focus on what I'm watching. I want to pay attention to every word, every detail. So I turned it off. So this morning I picked up, kind of went back about 10 minutes in the frame and watched the whole thing. And I did really enjoy it. I don't agree necessarily with the idea that it's the same stuff that came out in last year's special on the '68 show, the NBC special. I liked how they kind of built up. They showed his career in the 50s, and there were definitely a few things that were off about it. And I'm sure many of you that follow and are big fans of Elvis picked up on as well. Of course, they'd go through his career when he was, starting out, his time in the Army. Honestly, me personally, I think they could have done without him, meeting Priscilla and then her 2 cents that they added to it. I'm not a big fan of her. I don't have anything against her. I felt like she didn't need to be a part of this documentary. It would have went over fine. I like that Jerry Schilling was in it. Billy Corrigan. Yeah, I really didn't mind those views, but they kept going back to her, and she was like, I met Elvis in Germany. And I'm like, we didn't need that. This is about Elvis getting back into the superstar that he was after those duds, those last few movies that he made in the late 60s. So I'll tell you the bad. I didn't like that part about it. There was also some inaccuracies. They talked about Elvis when he went to Hawaii and did the benefit show on March 25th, 1961. And they showed footage of Elvis when he was in Hawaii. I believe it was in 1957 with the gold lame suit on. And they were referring to his performance in '61 and showing that footage. So I think it would have been better just to show some still shots. From what I know, what I understand, I don't think there's actually any video of Elvis in Hawaii doing the March 25th show. There's definitely pictures, obviously. FTD's released the Rock Around the Block book, so there's a lot of great pictures. But I didn't like that they did that. Maybe it was just to kind of create that sense, because he did have the lei around his neck. But they were talking about earlier about how he came over from the Army. He lost his famous long sideburns, and then they show him on stage saying, oh, in March 25th, 1961, he was at the Block Arena, blah, and they showed that footage of him on stage from 57. At the very end, they said that Elvis would go on to do 342 more concerts in his lifetime. That's way off. For me, if you're going to come out with a documentary and you want to be factual and give it credibility, you need to have your information correct. Again, that's my biggest critique. And then lastly, I felt that the documentary focused too much on the period of when Elvis was in that lull, where he was making his movies, he was bored with it. And you heard several clips of Elvis speaking. And my first thought was like, is this actually Elvis or is it an actor portraying Elvis? Because you didn't see, Elvis speaking. You just heard his voice talking about, how it was really getting to him making these movies. But, they also played a clip from the Madison Square Garden at the Hilton press conference on June 9th of 1972. They just played the clip where they were asking him about what his thoughts were on draft Dodgers. And Elvis said, I just want to keep my opinion to myself on that matter. I just want to be an entertainer. That's what I want to do. But so I do think that they were actually using clips of his voice. But those are my only kind of setbacks on it. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the footage of him on, I'm trying to think what show it was in the 50s. But he was doing some of the older songs, and I really liked the Timex special of Frank Sinatra with the pictures and some of the video and film footage of him and Frank Sinatra, kind of mimicking each other's songs and singing it together. And the highlight for me was during the 68 special when they were showing some of the, kind of like the edits and the cut scenes and things that they we're making mistakes on. There's a scene in particular where it's a fight scene and Elvis is doing his karate moves and the music was playing and you could hear Elvis, you could tell he was lip syncing. You could hear it and Elvis would be like, oh man, cut, and he'd go off and then they'd do it again, up, cut, and you could hear the vocals of the song still playing in the background or on the speakers. That's something that I thought was really cool, but it really showed the intimacy of the show and the on stage, what they call in the round, where he was playing to the audience in the black leather suit. It highlighted his guitar skills, and I'm trying to think who it was mentioned that. It might have been Billy Corgan, I can't remember, but one of them said, wow, it might have even been Springsteen. They were saying like, wow, like here he is sitting with a guitar actually playing it. I have always said this, I've said this probably since I was a kid. Elvis was a really, really good guitar player, in my opinion. I just think it was an element. I wish he would have done it more in his live performances in the late 60s, 69 through the 70s. He did it a little bit more towards the end of his life. He would do That's All Right, and he'd put on his acoustic guitar. But as far as like an electric guitar, man, he was really, really solid, a great player in my opinion. And I just wish that was more of an element into his live performances. But I really enjoyed it. It wasn't quite as long as I thought it would be, what I expected it to be. I'd say the runtime was probably, a little hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, but it was very enjoyable. If you have Netflix, if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely think it's a great time to sit back and just enjoy the legend that is Elvis Presley. So I just wanted to come on here and do my quick review, what my thoughts were on it. I would love to show a couple clips to give you examples, but YouTube, as you know, frowns on that, so it prohibits me from doing that. And a lot of times if you try to put anything from 68, YouTube will block it, completely block it. So I didn't want to lose this video just by showing, a minute worth of film from the Netflix documentary. So that is my review, my honest review of the new Netflix documentary. Like I said, check it out if you haven't. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Take care and have a great weekend. Be safe.